thank you very much for being here today. This is our third edition 2024 of the PhD Open Day. The idea is to talk a little bit about our program, the different activities, and also illustrate or show some postdoctoral opportunities for those already enrolled in the PhD program. What is our mission? In few words, we are aiming at training the next generation of highly skilled aerospace engineers in Europe, or even all over the world, right? Training, specific training on scientific competencies from basic fundamentals to numerical methods, experimental approaches, and also with an eye on technological solutions, transferring that knowledge into technology. And we're going to be doing it from a multidisciplinary perspective, also collaborating with different sectors, industry, institutions, academic domain, and at a very high international level. Okay, we want also to establish links with different groups at European level, and also in Asia, in America, and maybe other countries. If you remember last year, we ended up saying that pursuing a PhD in aerospace engineering can lead to a fulfilling and rewarding career, while also making a valuable contribution to the society. We are a public service, right? So we are serving the society. In the end, I think that pursuing a PhD thesis will make you differential, will make you different from others, from the commonality. And at the same time, you'll have solid scientific fundamentals to tackle all the challenging problems that we will face in the near future with creativity, right? Which is what will make different the human being from machines, right? Machines will be better at doing boring, routine works, repetitive works, and we need to really go beyond that. And the PhD is the way to go. The career opportunities, this rewarding career, might be in 3 dimensions. You can become a researcher, can be a faculty in international or national universities. It can be a career in different research centers like NASA, like DLR, like ONERA, INTA, right? It can be, of course, as well, a career, an R&D, a real R&D career in the aerospace industry, big companies, but also small companies. And why not? Why not? You can push your ideas, you can push your discoveries to create startup, to create spin-off in partnership with the university, and start building your own ecosystem in a way that I think is quite challenging and quite rewarding as well. But the question is, this is what we were telling before as a promise, right? Is this really rewarding? Is this a reality today? Yes or no? Well, let's see where our alumni, our PhD students, former PhD students are today. That's the best way of showing these different career paths. When it comes to scientific career, we have 2 examples in I would say, 2 of the most important universities in the world, MIT and Princeton. Gonzalo Arranz, who graduated with us a couple of years ago and now is a postdoc at MIT, Aerospace, Aero and Astro, and Álvaro Sánchez, who is working at Princeton's plasma physics laboratory, right? So 2 examples of 2 young postdocs that are starting to do a scientific career in the States. When it comes to research centers, we have a wide spectrum of people with, I would say, permanent positions already in aerospace research centers. In INTA, we have Carlos San Miguel, who is already a supervisor, Ivan, who has by far the nicest picture of all of us here, He has also a permanent position at INTA. We have also Rodrigo. So there's 3 people already at INTA, which is the National Research Center in Aerospace in Spain. But that's not all, because we have also people working in Italy, in Cira, in Enea, which is another public research center in Italy, in France, in Onera, Luca. Those are just few examples. If you want to do research, but you don't like teaching, you don't want to get into faculty, the research activity is also our reality today. And last but not least, we have 2 examples of former PhD students that decided to follow an academic career. Adrián, he was with us doing a postdoc, and he moved to University of Malaga for a permanent position. And Marco, who is here with us, who also did a postdoc with us, assistant professorship, and now is associate professor with us. And by the way, there is an opening in the department for young PhD students, should you be interested in following a faculty career here in Spain, or maybe in Malaga, here with us, or maybe in other universities in the world, okay? So that's our reality. It's not a dream. How about finishing a PhD, investing 4 or 5 years of hard work, and then move to the industry? Is that easy? Yes or no? The answer is yes, it is. And the industry is really considering and accounting for those 4 years of experience, and they are requesting this type of skills, believe me, especially in the aerospace sector. We have Eduardo Andres, who found a really well-suited position for him on flight mechanics in Airbus, Spain. David Morante is head of interplanetary mission analysis at Deimos. The 2 theses were oriented to those 2 topics, as you might imagine. Cayetano is working in Airbus Germany in aeroelasticity, and his thesis was partially on that as well. Juanma Catalán is still not done with the thesis and has joined ITP, which is the most relevant company in terms of propulsive systems in Spain. I think it's owned nowadays by Rolls-Royce. Sergio Garcia moved from Sener to Airbus as he's head of mission systems in space domain. And Guillermo, who is somewhere with us, is now moving to Luxembourg after finishing his PhD to work on North Star as a company devoted to launch satellites and do observation. And he will be talking about it later on. Okay, so these are just a few examples of people that is really now into the industry. How about creating a spin-off? Is that difficult? Is that something impossible? Is that a dream? Not at all. Okay, the university is really fostering us to do that, and we have 2 successful examples here at the department. We have Aerospace, which I think now has over 30 employees. It was founded by Sarah, Mick, and Dani Perez. 3-4 years ago, they were among the first people to graduate in the department. And Daniel González Arribas, who graduated a couple of years ago, also joined them as a postdoc, because we have public opportunities, public funding to incorporate postdocs into spin-offs, startups, okay? So that's something that might also be of interest for some of you. This is one example. The other example is AI methods. This is a spin-off of the university. We signed this last week. Aniel Jardines is about to graduate, and he has 4 or 5 employees, the company. And well, I'm one of the co-founders of this spin-off as well. And well, just 2 examples. We have another spin-off at the university, in this case, not founded by a PhD student, founded by Gonzalo and Manu Sanjurjo. But this is a reality, and you can inspire yourselves in these 2 spin-offs. So, the question, having said that, would you like to be connected with all these people? Do you think these connections might be valuable for you? I don't care if you are about to finish the PhD. I don't care if you are about to start the PhD. Because we think it is. And we thought about establishing an alumni network of these very high-skilled people that is to transform to transform the aerospace sector in the next years. Okay, so being connected with them, I think, is something of very, very added value for the program and for you, and for us, and for the society. Do not forget that we are just serving the society. So that's one of the main goals of today. I'm going to present the PhD, describing the different research lines. I'm going to present some opportunities. At least we have just 3, 4, 5 people interested in joining us, but that's good enough. If you get a flavor of what we're offering and where you want to develop your career, that will be very valuable for us as a program, okay? And then we'll go into Marco here. We'll present this alumni network that we're presenting today as part of, not as part of the program, I think it's part of the department of what we are doing, of what we want to be. And then you will be listening to 3 experiences from Ivan, where is Ivan? Here, from Guillermo, and from Alvaro, who is not an alumni, but he is the only one in the department with a Marie Curie postdoctoral fellowship, which I think is a natural career path for those of you who would like to follow a scientific career independently, new ideas, move to Europe, and try to follow a career in that domain, okay? So you will also be hearing to him. So I'm gonna try to be quick now. 2 areas, aeronautics and space, as you might imagine, devices that fly in the atmosphere, devices that orbit in the space, I would say, and its propulsive systems and its design and so on and so forth is what we're doing. When it comes to aeronautics, we have not all the disciplines, but most of them, starting from the conceptual design of a vehicle. I don't care if it is a conventional vehicle, hydrogen power, hybrid electric, an aerotaxi, all those things fit into designing the vehicle. Then we'll need to do the structural design, do the aerodynamic design, the propulsive system, so all the subsystems. And we have people working on aerospace structures, we have people working on aerodynamics, propulsion, from a numerical perspective, from an experimental perspective. We have people doing manufacturing, composite materials, making the flying devices as light as possible, as efficient as possible, as green as possible. And then, once the aircraft is ready to fly, we need to operate it, right? And that's the last part. We need to fly it. We need to try to be as less contaminant as possible, and that's a hot topic from a political level today. We also need to find ways of generating energy, and kites. If you remember yourselves as kids flying a kite, well, that's something that we are also doing, understanding aeroelasticity, understanding how to control them, and how to generate energy with a kite, right? That's another topic we are dealing with, and it's a flying device in the atmosphere. And when we go into space, we have something similar, okay? We have, first of all, the understanding of celestial mechanics, astrodynamics. We have a lot of debris orbiting in the space, which we might need to remove, space awareness, these type of things. Then we need to design vehicles. We have people working on designing CubeSats, integrating systems, because a CubeSat needs to fulfill a mission to serve society. We need to control that device. We need to find a propulsive system. In this case, we are quite advanced in electric propulsion, which is dealing with plasma physics. And we also have space tethers as a mean to remove space debris. So all in all, many different research lines in the 2 big areas, space and aeronautics, okay? How many students do we have? We have 64 students today, and the picture is old-fashioned because Ivan, for instance, is already graduated. Altogether, this academic year, we have had 69 students, right? 5 of them have already graduated, and we have 4 or 5 of them also to graduate soon. As you see, we really want to be international, right? We have half of our students are Spanish, yes, But we have a lot of people from Italy, which are quite welcome, from Iran, from France, and Norway, China, the USA, Portugal, Japan, Ecuador. We want to, to reach people from all over the world. I think that's important because 4 years is a lot of time. We need to work in a team that enriches us as individuals, being exposed to other cultures, to other languages, to other ways of understanding life, I think is quite important. By gender, we are short in gender equality, I would say. We need to close that gap, but it's difficult because out of each of the positions we offer, we really receive more applications from men than women. So if you're a woman and you want to join us, please apply, because we really encourage you to be with us. I think it's also quite rich to have both men and women in a team. And we have a lot of academic PhD people that is working with us in the department in projects. But of course, we also think that we need to do industrial PhDs with big companies, with spin-offs. We are working with AI Method, we are working with GNI, we are working with GMV, we are working with Deimos, Airbus, so the big actors and spin-offs. And we also have a lot of PhDs with ESA, with INTA, with public entities, and I think that's also nice to see. We don't have a lot, we have just 6, but we had 1 or none 2-3 years ago, and now this number is increasing. Okay, so that's the ecosystem. Our alumni, these are the ones that have graduated from our program, because the portfolio that I was presenting at the beginning was about all the PhD students that graduated from the department, and this PhD program is quite new. It's just the 3rd, 4th year, so we are starting to have a number of graduated students. Guillermo, Marco just graduated last week, Ivan, and so on and so forth. We are building a portfolio of activities for each of you, and that's registered in your page. That's Lucas one, including the thesis that can be accessed, including projects in which Lucas has participated. Research stays, I guess you have seen Oppenheimer, right? The movie with a lot of Oscars. Well, he was in Los Alamos as doing a research stay. And we also include the recordings of your presentations, because you have to present, so that people might come here and look at how you write, how you present, where have you been, to get a nice flavor of your curriculum, all right? And I think that's important, together with this network we are building. Supervisors. We are not the most important part of the PhD thesis. You are the most important part of the thesis, students. But of course, supervisors are also important. We are the ones to get funding. We are the ones to define the PhD. We are the ones to guide you. We have the experience, okay, which is also important. And you have the power and the ambition, hopefully. People of very high level, top researchers in the world, in Europe, in Spain, in the different fields. So that's an opportunity for you. And the first thing you need to do to join us, the very first thing is to find a supervisor. There is no thesis without a supervisor, okay? We will see some practicalities, some practical information at the end, but I want to just give you this. Knock the door, talk to us, find a supervisor, find a topic, and then we can discuss about other things, like for instance, getting a salary, getting a scholarship, which is easier if you have a good supervisor, okay? You have the list of supervisors in the website. I didn't mention, but if you go to the website, you have PhDs, students, supervisors, etc. We are all these supervisors, many of the PhD students. The department is quite active in competitive projects. We have 2 ERC projects. We have a lot of EIC ERC is the European Research Council for fundamental science, top grants in Europe for doing fundamental science. The EIC is the European Innovation Council, which is top, not research in terms of technology, instead in terms of know-how transfer, and we have also we have had 2-3 projects on that. We have national, regional, European projects of the different societal challenges, artificial intelligence, climate change, digitalization, etc. So we are quite active into that, and you will have the chance to participate in these projects with a lot of actors from at the international level, from different sectors. This is also important to provide you a rich ecosystem. What type of activities we are organizing? Well, one of the most important ones is the PhD seminars, right? We are organizing seminars since 2022, I believe. We are organizing more or less one seminar per month, even though sometimes we get them packed into 1 week because it's difficult to organize this. We cannot call someone, hey, a very top guy or very top folk in the world, you need to come this Wednesday at 1. They come when they come, and sometimes they are packed in 1 week, as it is the case for next week, okay? This is important because we need to be exposed to different people, to different areas of knowledge, regardless of whether your topic is on, I don't know, plasma physics or climate change. We have had very important questions, such, for instance, is there life in the solar system? We had a very recognized professor, a woman, talking about that, about a project in which they are looking for life in the solar system, to understand that, which is a question that every kid is posing to him or herself. We have been also listening to our colleagues talking about turbulence, which is something that still is not fully understood, about plasma physics, about many other things, okay? So I think just having the chance to learn about that is quite nice, intellectually speaking, and I really encourage you to keep attending to these seminars. We post all the information in our web, in our LinkedIn, in our Twitter, so that you get up to date. You will also get invitations in your calendars once you join us, and I really encourage to follow this. The PhD doctoral meetings. This is happening every year. It's an important event for the program. It's like a small workshop in where we all gather, and it's now your time as PhD students to come here and present your work. We record everything, right? We get to know what each of us is doing. We get to also share some beers, some snacks, get to know each other, because in the end, this is teamwork. You might be working with your supervisors, with your colleagues of your laboratory, but you also have other people that might help you in transversal things, general things, administrative things, who knows, okay? But presenting is important. Also for those that are not with us in the department, that are working outside, in Europe, in US, or in companies, and they need to come here, get in touch with the program, get in touch with the supervisors, get in touch and tight with the PhD activities. And sometimes that's not easy. We'll have our 2024 doctoral meetings in May, in 1 month more or less, in 4 days, 4 mornings. So I really am waiting and looking forward for your presentations. And you can go into the website and into the YouTube channel to check what your colleagues did. I will give you instructions, of course, soon. Research stays. That's another quite important activity. I think is probably the most motivating activity in a PhD, to travel, to live outside your area of comfort, to get to know other departments, other groups, other ways of working, to get to know some something that we cannot offer you here, so orthogonal knowledge, because the theses are becoming more and more interdisciplinary, and sometimes we don't have the expertise that you might need for a building block of your thesis. And as you see, we have links with JAXA in Japan, TU Delft, Los Alamos, Stanford, MIT, ETH, EPFL, ESA, etc., etc., etc. That's a very important opportunity. And if you don't know it, I'm telling you, the call for mobility grants for predoctoral students is open, was open, I think, last week or this Monday. So if you are thinking of doing this, please apply, because that's a need for the international mention of your PhD, okay? Other things, courses and workshops. Sometimes, I mean, knowledge is progressing on a continuous basis, and there are some specific training needs that are more or less transversal. It happened with artificial intelligence, and this is the case also of high performance computing or GPU computing, which is becoming now a need in many disciplines, especially if you are doing artificial intelligence or you are doing large scale simulations. It might be interesting. And we offer this course of 5 sessions, 2 hours, to give a training to all of you. And we are in the continuous search of those transversal activities that we think are needed. We are also asking it to you. What do you think you would need as a training to offer this in different formats? One is a short course of 4 or 5 sessions. Another one is the exchange workshops that is being led by Mario. And we have organized 2 of them. This is more hands-on, more on practicalities, on tools. For instance, when it comes to representing, visualizing information, or when it comes to preparing a 3D printing piece that you want to test in a plasma chamber, you want to test in a wind or water channel. And we are preparing our next exchange workshop on tools and ways of doing a state-of-the-art, which we think is something that you guys really need. All right, so we will have that soon in the same format, 2-3 hours of workshop that you also are teaching this type of workshops, by the way. And by the way, this course of high-performance computing was taught by Miguel, and also a colleague. It's called, I don't remember if he's here or not. No, I don't think so. Oh, yeah, but he's not. Okay, another activities. That's in the core of a PhD: to publish, to communicate, to disseminate scientific findings, as you might imagine. And one of the main goals is to publish papers, okay? And we don't want to publish many papers. That's not the goal. I think we need to go in the direction of publishing high quality papers, because nowadays more and more publishing has become sort of capitalist activity. We want to publish more and more, and the quality sometimes is not as it used to be. So we have an example of a paper by Alberto Solera, PhD student at INTA, in Nature Communications, as an example of a high impact journal paper. And I really encourage you and your supervisors to start looking at those, the best journals in your field, and try to go for those. It's also a message that has been communicated to all the departments at the university level. We need to maximize our impact. We need to be differential, all right? Doing the same as what many people is doing is not in the direction of being differential. Some practical information, quick. There has been a regulation change in the admission. Now you need to have a bachelor and a master finished, altogether 300 European credits, and the master has to be at least of 60 credits. This is different from what we had before, in which you needed a bachelor and just 60 credits of a master. I'm saying that because this might be different. I mean, this might be an issue for those following our masters that are 90 credits masters. In any case, if you are in that situation, we can always talk. The preferred background is aerospace engineering, yes, but we are also welcoming people with bachelor's, master's on mathematics, applied physics, different engineering disciplines. Again, our theses are becoming more and more multidisciplinary, and we need different backgrounds. Ambition, I was saying before, first of all, have a supervisor and a topic that fits our different activities. Then we can get into search for funding. Maybe the supervisor has a project and it can offer a contract, or maybe you guys can sit down and see if you can apply for a scholarship at national level, provided by different foundations like La Caixa. We also have the same predoctoral scholarships at regional level in Madrid. You typically need to prepare your CV, a thesis proposal, the CV of your supervisor, and altogether, I can tell you that we are being now quite successful in this type of scholarships. So you can get a salary and you can get paid for just studying, which is, I guess, nice. And then you can fill the paperwork, right? But do not start with the paperwork. Start with the core element of your thesis, which is the topic and the supervisor, and then, of course, a mean of living. If you are in a company, of course, the same applies to you. You need to look for a supervisor. You can have a supervisor in your company if she has a PhD, but you also need to have a supervisor, tutor inside the university, right? It can be from the aerospace department. It could be for other departments at the university. Requirements: at least one paper, if possible, high quality. Do not target MDPI as an example. If you want to do it, you are free to do it. But of course, afterwards, your curriculum would be evaluated, and whatever you do and the decisions you take during the PhD might affect your future. Okay. Participate in the doctoral meetings. That's a must. Right. It's the only compulsory activity in the program every year. Then you have to participate in conferences. That comes without saying. If you want to have the international mention, you must be abroad 3 months, and then you have to write it in English, your thesis, and then you have to have some international members in your jury. But the most important thing is to have these 3 months abroad. Attend seminars. That's important. As a department, I really encourage you to attend, right? Sometimes we are seeing the room a bit empty. It's also on us as faculty, right, to be an example for you, but you also need to make an effort and attend seminars. And we know that sometimes it's not possible, but please try to make it most of the times. Then you have other activities, our courses, transversal stuff on presentations, on writing. You know with your supervisors what are the things that you do good and the things in which you need to improve. And sometimes you need to follow this. And so far, there is no additional formation that is mandatory, but we are starting to see that the bachelors and masters are quite professionally oriented, and we are starting to experience that there is a general lack of fundamental knowledge that we used to have 10, 20 years ago, and now, life is changing, and maybe we are starting to think on whether it would make sense to propose some of you some credits on fundamental mathematics that we need are, again, transversal fundamental knowledge that you need to have. But still, this is not a reality today, and most likely will not be a reality if you join us next year. But just to let you know that we are thinking on that. And we have already some people that is following some courses upon agreement between the student and the supervisor. This is a possibility today, right? But it's not a must. And that's all in the sense of welcoming and describing the program. I don't know how good I'm doing with time. I guess not very good. I'm gonna go fast now because now to present the research laboratories online. I'm gonna do it myself. Last year I was inviting people to come in and out. It was a bit too much back and forth. And now I'm gonna present what Stefano, Andrea, and Marco are doing in experimental fluid dynamics. They're basically measuring, characterizing fluids in wind tunnels, in water tunnels, with different means, lasers, cameras, and they have the ERC project NextFlow, in which they are not only characterizing the flow, but also trying to control it with machine learning techniques, aiming at understanding and reducing drag, which, as you know, is an important element in terms of producing consumption. They are also trying to learn from nature how birds fly, and that's quite interesting in terms of reinforcement learning, how we learn on the basis of our experience. And nature has been there for millions of years, and the human beings, or the beings that we have today, have been going through many things and are the best prepared and the best adapted to the mean. So learning from them is quite a smart thing to do. They are also trying to understand noise, how these waves propagate, and they have also an anechoic chamber, and this is being led by Marco. And this is what they do. If you are interested in any of these things, talk to them. You have the email here, and they are, Stefano, Andrea are back there, and Marco is here. The only position that they expect to open, or they are going to open, is this, is linked or tied to a Marie Curie doctoral network. This means that you're going to get very well paid. And being in cooperation with many people from many different countries. And it is not specifically something on aerospace engineering, but it is also something that we aim to bring to the program. I mean, we need to find synergies between aerospace domain and other disciplines, and biomedicine is one of those. You will see other examples, as we are also willing to bring knowledge from other disciplines to the aerospace domain, okay? So in this case, they will analyze the flow in surgery domain, and that's a link, I guess, also to coronavirus and all these things, and it might be also interesting. Same activities or same area of study, the fluids, but now from a computational perspective, okay? This is the group in which Oscar, we have also Miguel, Serem, who's here, right? And Alberto, I don't know if they are here. Young professors, we really want you to start supervising PhD students with us. Oscar is already quite experienced. And they have now 3 PhD students. And well, they basically do be-inspired aerodynamics, so understanding flapping wings, how the birds fly, and whether they can really mimic that, and maybe at some point understand or model from a dynamical perspective how a bird flies, how to control the bird, and how to eventually maybe manufacture a bio-inspired drone. They're also looking at how Samara seeds fly, a passive seed. Again, this seed has been evolving through millions of years and is quite good at flying and spreading. And they are trying to understand that phenomenon as well. And then the other line of research is turbulence, which you see in behind the wing, in the sun, in many different processes, and it's still not fully understood. And they also work on biomedicine, on analyzing how, I guess, the heart works, and in terms of also turbulence, and that's also an interesting synergetic topic if you're interested. 2 positions to be open. Next course on controlling flapping wing micro-air vehicle and on turbulence and heat transfer. Okay, those are the 2 PhD positions they are opening. They collaborate with many institutions. Oscar is here, Serem. I don't know, maybe Alberto and Miguel, they are not here, but if you're interested, please get to talk to them during the snack, okay? Aeroelastic and structural design group, we have Rauno, Chini, Antonio. I don't think they are here today. They do design of vehicles, hybrid electric taxis, hydrogen, conventional ones, futuristic vehicles. If you like that, this might be your group. And then they also do structural analysis and manufacturing. And they have won a big project in which they're going to do or apply artificial intelligence to all these topics. And they have now 4 openings at the moment. If you're interested in any of these, you can get to talk to me, and I can get you in touch with them. This is aircraft operations. This is our group, myself, Javier, who is in an event, and Maria, who is with us, also recently joined us. We basically we try to understand how meteorology affects aviation operations. So try to characterize thunderstorms, volcanic ash, how this evolves, trying to use machine learning to predict where thunderstorms are going to be, such that we can really plan a trajectory to avoid them. And we are also interested in understanding climate change and specifically contrail effects, right? And here, again, you have a lot of disciplines being together. We do trajectory optimization, basically optimal control, and machine learning, artificial intelligence, deep learning if you want. We are working in different projects, and we are collaborating with many institutions. And openings, one opening by Maria. Maria has recently requested 2 grants to support this PhD, which has to do with formation flight. So again, being inspired by nature, how birds migrate, and they do it in an efficient manner so that we can mitigate CO2, but what happens with non-CO2 effects like NOx or contrails? Is this viable, yes or no? If you're interested, she gave a seminar that is recorded, and here you have a schematic, and you can get to talk to her, I guess, after my talk. We will also be opening a position or using or applying artificial intelligence to predict meteorological phenomena. This is still to be defined. This is a higher tier level position because it's linked to the spin-off I was mentioning AI methods. More things. This is the line by Manuel Sanjurjo, space transportation, all the things related to space mission, orbit racing, interplanetary missions, GNC, so guidance, navigation, and control, how to land in an asteroid, for instance, to take a sample and understand the composition, and the space surveillance or space safety, right? How to locate all these space debris, and that's also something Guillermo is working on, and he will be talking about it. There is no opening in this area, unfortunately, because Manuel is leaving the department. He's joining a company, but he's still quite active in all these topics, supervising a lot of PhD students in a topic that is quite hot today. Then, tethers, right? These cables. This is Gonzalo's research line. Gonzalo is not here today. As you see, the idea of a tether is a way, to remove space debris, right? Once the life is finished, you will deploy this cable that will generate a force, and then the orbit will be the orbiting down to to the Earth. And they have been, he has been quite successful in getting funding in a consecutive manner, increasing the tier level of the technology. If you are one of those guys that was looking at Apollo missions with all the engineers clapping, when this was a reality in the 60s, 70s, this may be your place, because they are going to fly this soon. And this is quite exciting. It will be there for the first time a demonstrator, in-orbit demonstrator of this technology. And he is opening right now 2 PhD opportunities linked to this Pathfinder project that is starting now, in which they're going to do the demonstrator. Okay? So that's one thing. And Gonzalo also has, he also, by the way, he has a spin-off on this, okay, called Persei Space, if you're interested also in looking at it. He also has a research line on airborne wind energy, in which basically they're generating energy with kites. Again, he's increasing the TRL level, getting different type of projects. In this case, he has a collaboration with city engineers. And they have a track, a big one. They have a very big kite. Well, this is not belonging to the group, I believe. They are organizing a conference soon. They are quite active. Ivan was working with them. So if you're interested in this activity, there is no opening at the moment, but always you can talk to him. And if you show interest, a lot of interest on a topic, there is always the possibility to find opportunities for you to do a PhD. Then, aerospace control and dynamics. Here we have Andres and Gabriele. Gabriele is also a young visiting professor who recently joined us. And they do basically robust control, the modeling of the dynamical system, different types of aerospace dynamical systems. And they basically try to design controllers that are robust, right? That's basically what they do: linear, nonlinear dynamics, controllers, etc. And they also lead the CubeSat lab. So if you are interested in designing CubeSats, incorporating that, doing the system engineering, and eventually flying it or send it into orbit, this might be also your group, because they are offering 4 PhD positions on topics related to control, right? But with some load, some effort devoted to the Stellar program. Andres is the director, and if you're interested in that activity, you can talk to him afterwards, okay? Andres, you can raise your hand. Just they know you, I guess, but just in case.
Everyone with a picture, if they don't see me.
Yeah, that's good. But you look younger here, huh?
Time is a bitch.
Time, yeah, exactly. Then this is in Spanish. The propulsion, the EP2 team, electric propulsion team. They basically design, model, simulate, and test plasma space propulsion systems. They have a unique, in Spain and also in Europe, laboratory in which they can do the testing of different prototypes. Basically, they are also interested in transferring this know-how to space companies such as CENER. They have been working intensively with them. One of the key areas of expertise is numerical simulation. So they basically want to understand plasma physics from a fundamental perspective, and then develop codes in which they can, codes for plasma physics that are quite complex and quite demanding. They are moving into high performance computing. So I guess the course was interesting for all the PhD students. And they also they have the experimental facility to design, manufacture, and test different type of propulsive systems. They are quite a big group, the biggest group in the department, and the one that has more PhD students in the program. And as you see, they are offering quite a lot of PhD positions on Hall effect thrusters, which are the highest tier level thrusters in the market, and they want to move into high power Hall thrusters. to scale it up, etc. They also are investigating electrodeless plasma thrusters, and this is linked to the ERC grant that Mario has. And of course, they are going to, this is, I guess, fundamental numerical analysis, but then they also want to incorporate people to do an experimental thesis. So, floor is yours if you're interested in this type of activities. Mario is here with us, also Jaume. I guess Mario is more the theoretical simulation guy. Jaume is the director of the laboratory, so you can get to talk to them. And that's all. Wow. I don't know if I made it 1 hour, not bad. Well, we have started late, so more or less